What if one tiny 3-minute habit could quietly change the way your brain feels, how your muscles move, and even how you see the world, all before most people have even finished their first cup of coffee? I'm talking about something sitting in a cardboard carton in almost every American fridge right now. Something we were actually told to be afraid of for nearly 30 years. But what if I told you that for most of us, especially those of us over the age of 35, those two little eggs you might be skipping are exactly what your body has been begging for? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 10 specific things that happen to your body when you decide to make 2 eggs your morning ritual. And trust me, by the time we get to number 7, you're going to look at your grocery list in a completely different way. Now, I've been in the health education space for over 2 decades, and I remember the 80s and 90s vividly. Back then, the egg was the villain. We were told they'd clog our arteries and that we should stick to boxed cereal or white toast. It was the era of low fat, high sugar, and let's be honest, how did that work out for us as a country? Not great. Modern nutrition research has finally caught up to what our grandparents probably knew instinctively. The egg is one of the most perfect, nutrient-dense foods on the planet. It's not just a breakfast food, it's a biological goldmine. If you're between 35 and 75, your nutritional needs are changing. You don't need more calories. You need better information for your cells. And 2 eggs are like a high-speed data download for your health. So, let's talk about what actually happens inside you when you crack those 2 shells every morning. Think about your typical Tuesday. You grab a quick muffin or a bowl of sweetened cereal at 7:30 a.m. By 10:45 a.m., what happens? You're looking for a vending machine. You're reaching for a second or third cup of coffee. Your brain feels like it's wrapped in a wet wool blanket. That's the glucose roller coaster. When you start your day with 2 eggs, you're giving your body a steady, slow-burning fuel. Eggs contain 0 sugar and almost no carbohydrates, but they are packed with high-quality fats and proteins. Instead of a spike and a crash, you get a level plateau. It's the difference between throwing a heap of dry leaves on a fire, which burns hot and goes out in a minute, and putting a thick oak log on the embers. You might notice that by 11 a.m., you're actually focused. You're not hangry, you're just working. But here's where things get really interesting for those of us who are starting to feel our age in our joints and muscles. There's a word doctors use called sarcopenia. It's just a fancy way of saying that as we get older, our bodies naturally want to let go of muscle. If you've ever felt like you're getting weaker even though you're staying active, this might be why. After age 40, we need high-quality protein more than ever to keep our frame strong. Not all protein is created equal. Scientists use something called the biological value to measure how well our bodies can actually use a protein. Eggs are the gold standard. They have a score of 100. Beef is around 80. Beans are in the 70s. When you eat those 2 eggs, you're providing the exact amino acids your body needs to repair your muscles after a walk, a gym session, or just a long day of gardening. It's like giving your house a fresh coat of structural paint every single morning. You feel sturdier. Have you ever noticed that you can eat a giant bagel and be hungry an hour later, but if you have a small omelet, you're good until lunch? There's a reason for that. Eggs are incredibly high on the satiety index. They trigger hormones in your gut that tell your brain, hey, we're good. We have everything we need. You can stop thinking about food now. For a lot of my clients, the biggest struggle isn't dinner. It's the mindless snacking between breakfast and lunch. When you eat 2 eggs, you're essentially quieting the snack monster in your head. You're reclaiming your mental space. Instead of wondering when lunch is, you're actually living your life. But wait until you hear what those eggs are doing to the organ that matters most, your brain. If you've ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went in there, we call it the senior moment, you need to know about a nutrient called choline. Most Americans are significantly deficient in choline, and it's one of the most important building blocks for a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. That's the chemical your brain uses to communicate, learn, and remember. Think of your brain like a massive fiber optic network. Choline is the insulation on the wires. 2 eggs provide about 250 milligrams of choline. For many people, that's nearly half of their daily requirement. When you start getting enough choline, that brain fog often begins to lift. You find your keys faster. You remember the name of that person you met at the grocery store. It's like turning the brightness up on your cognitive processor. This is the one that surprises almost everyone. We're told to eat carrots for our eyes, right? Well, eggs might actually be better. Inside that yellow yolk are 2 powerful antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin. You can think of these as internal sunglasses. As we age, our eyes are under constant assault. from the sun, but also from the blue light of our phones and TV screens. These antioxidants accumulate in the retina and help filter out that harmful light. Studies suggest that these nutrients can significantly reduce the risk of cataracts and macular degeneration, which are the leading causes of vision loss in older Americans. So while you're enjoying your breakfast, you're actually building a shield for your vision. And speaking of looking better, let's talk about something a bit more surface level, but just as important for our confidence. If you've noticed your hair thinning a bit or your nails getting brittle, it's not just getting older. It's often a sign that your body is redirecting nutrients away from non-essential things like hair and toward your vital organs. Eggs are rich in biotin and sulfur. Sulfur is often called the beauty mineral because it's a key component of keratin, the stuff your hair and nails are made of. Many people spend hundreds of dollars on expensive biotin supplements or hair growth shampoos, but the most bioavailable way to get these nutrients is through, you guessed it, whole foods. After a few weeks of a 2-egg-a-morning habit, don't be surprised if your nail technician asks what you've been doing differently, or if you notice less hair in the shower drain. It's the side effect of being healthy from the inside out. We've all had those mornings where we feel on edge. Maybe the traffic is more annoying than usual, or a small mistake at work feels like a disaster. Believe it or not, your mood is heavily tied to your protein intake. Eggs contain an amino acid called tryptophan. Now, you might associate that with the Thanksgiving nap, but in reality, tryptophan is the precursor to serotonin, the feel-good hormone. When you start your day with the building blocks of serotonin, you're setting yourself up for emotional resilience. You're calmer, you're more patient. It's much harder to have a bad day when your brain chemistry is balanced from the start. What most people never realize is that willpower is often just well-nourished brain chemistry. I want to be very clear, there is no magic weight loss food. However, eggs are a powerful tool for weight management because of everything we've talked about so far. When you aren't crashing from sugar, when you feel full, and when your muscles are supported, your metabolism stays happy. There was a famous study where one group of people ate 2 eggs for breakfast, and another group ate a bagel with the exact same amount of calories. The egg group lost 65% more weight over 8 weeks. Why? It wasn't the calories, it was the hormones. The eggs kept their insulin low, which allowed their bodies to access stored body fat for fuel. The bagel group had high insulin, which locked their fat cells. By eating eggs, you aren't just eating a meal, you're sending a signal to your body that it's okay to burn fat. Think of an egg as a multivitamin in a shell. Most Americans are low in vitamin D. Eggs are one of the few natural food sources of it. We're often low in B12, which we need for nerve health. Eggs are packed with it. We need selenium for our thyroid to function correctly. Eggs have that too. When you look at a plate of 2 eggs, you're looking at a concentrated dose of vitamin A, E, K, and a whole host of B vitamins. In a world where our soil is being depleted of minerals and our food is becoming more processed, the egg remains one of the last pure things we have left. It hasn't changed in thousands of years. It's nature's original superfood. This last point is perhaps the most important one, and it's not about biology. It's about psychology. How you start your morning sets the trajectory for your entire day. If you start with a sugary pastry, you've made a compromise. And once you've made one compromise, it's much easier to make another at lunch. Well, I already messed up breakfast, so I might as well have the fries. But when you sit down and eat 2 eggs, you've made a power move. You've told yourself, I am a person who cares about my health. That one small victory creates a ripple effect. You'll find yourself drinking more water. You'll find yourself opting for the salad at lunch. You'll find yourself wanting to go for that walk after dinner. Better health doesn't usually come from a massive overnight transformation. It comes from the compound effect of small, wise choices. And 2 eggs is the easiest first choice you can make. Now, before you go, I want to give you 2 quick pro tips to get the most out of this. First, don't throw away the yolk. I know we were told for years that the yolk was the bad part, but almost all the nutrients we've talked about today, the choline, the vitamin D, the lutein, are found only in the yolk. The white is just protein. The yolk is the medicine. Second, think about what you're cooking them in. If you fry your eggs in highly processed seed oils, you're kind of canceling out some of the benefits. Try a little bit of grass-fed butter, some avocado oil, or just poach them. And if you can, look for pasture-raised eggs. They usually have orange yolks instead of pale yellow ones. That deep orange color, that's the lutein we talked about. It's literally visible health. You know, I've spoken to thousands of people over the years who feel like they've lost control of their health. They feel overwhelmed by all the conflicting advice out there. But here's the truth. Your body is incredibly resilient. It wants to heal. It wants to give you energy. It just needs the right raw materials to do the job. Sometimes the most profound changes don't come from a pill bottle or an expensive gym membership. They come from a simple habit, repeated with love, every single morning. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to have a brain that's sharp and a body that supports your dreams, whether that's traveling the world or just playing with your grandkids on the floor. So, tomorrow morning, when you walk into your kitchen, skip the cereal aisle. Reach for the eggs. Do it for a week. See how you feel. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. If you found this helpful, I'd love for you to do two things. First, hit that like button. It helps this message reach other people who might be struggling with their energy or their health. Second, leave a comment below. Tell me, how do you like your eggs? Or better yet, tell me one small health goal you're working toward this month. I read as many of those comments as I can, and I love hearing your stories. And if you want more common sense health deep dives like this, hit the subscribe button and join our community. We're all in this together, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself.